What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. I'm indoors today. I guess out of the elements a little bit. Maybe it's a little more quiet around here. But like it's been an interesting journey here. This all season already. You see the schedule has come out, and people are starting to dissect the schedule to see exactly how they feel the bus will fit in next season. And outside of the people who really been following to be able to compare last year to this year, people really follow the team, kind of see what the recruiting looked like, able to watch and see as the boys committed, seeing like their prior film, kind of seeing what they bring to the table and knowing what the Buffs need. Only certain people are able to do that. So we really don't expect a lot of people to really understand what a person who's seen all this may feel or may think about what the Buffaloes have. A lot of people are familiar with, certain people like Jordan Seaton. He's a young dude. And really a lot of people, no-name guys, from other programs. So when you look at what the Buffaloes did last year, they're going to have to prove a lot because people are going to say, you was excited last year. So, you didn't do nothing last year, so it's the same hype. You basically have to show them. And it's interesting because it's almost like the thing's going to have to repeat itself. They still don't believe. And I don't know if I can expect or blame them because of what happened last year. It's like, hey, they can use that. Like, hey, you talked that talk last year, and I believed you. So, you didn't come through. And the Buffaloes are at a point now, it's really do or die. They're going to lose a lot of veteran players, specifically the quarterback, Shador, and, even the Shallows, the Travis, all these boys coming out. A lot of these one-year guys that came over this year going out. The momentum got to be built this year to get a bona fide class next year. The coaches got to prove that they're able to produce a winning season. And Colorado is that place to be. Outside of the hype, it goes a long way if they don't. A lot of guys say that they play a lot, and I noticed that. At first, I didn't really see it, but it's like, okay, they're extra silly with it and even get in trouble for it. And I think that happens everywhere to an extent. But there's really no room for games. I know sometimes people do stuff different. Like some guys, you think they've been silly, but that's how they relax. But you don't want that to become a culture, and you don't want it to be, rub off on somebody who really is going to take the silly to a whole nother level. Somebody like, for example, Travis Hunter, he can do all that and still perform. He's proven that over and over again. But that's his thing. That's not necessarily need to be the thing for everybody. That's how he keeps himself relaxed. And he performed, and he's focused. That's his personality. But, when you see that going on a whole broad level, like, oh, I'm going to do it because he's doing it, that's not quite how it works. So it's going to be interesting, the culture that's built and established over time. I know a lot of guys come in serious focus. We're going to see how they maintain that throughout the offseason and how it correlates and how it creates results when it comes to the performance. Because ultimately, performance. A lot of people's not going to have a lot of sympathy on Colorado. I'm just telling that now. They already got 2 strikes against them from fans and non-fans. And really, the expectation is higher. It was high because of what Coach Prime said. It's also high because, okay, so you got better talent? Okay, well, I expect better. And realistically, talent-wise and depth-wise, they are a better team. And I think they were better, much better than their record to an extent. I think they definitely were. I know they wasn't a 4-8 team. We watched one game in itself get snuffed off one of them the last game. They wasn't outplayed. There was a few other ones you can give them. So they definitely was, to me, at least a 75 team as far as what they were able to produce with all the errors. I've said this 100 times, right? I think this team here, I believe going 8-4 would be like mediocre for them. For the talent they have and what they're capable of, 8-4 would be mediocre, which means there have to be a lot of mistakes made with the talent they have at offense, with the quarterback they have. 8-4 would be a disaster from a coaching perspective. Like, you didn't really maximize what you had because you're not going to have a loaded team like that from what we see anytime soon. Not like this. You could have a loaded team if you were to go and dominate and go to the playoff and go deep and get a lot of recruits like that. That's about it. Can't have a mediocre team, a mediocre season, and expect to keep recruiting like that. Because a lot of this had to do with, what's going on right now. You use what you have. You have Travis Hunter there. People want to play with him. People want to play with Shador. Bucky's there. You're not guaranteed to keep being there when his brothers leave. I mean, it's just not the same. So you really riding a wave that's going to give you time to legitimize who you are as a program and as a staff. That's where you are right now. And you got to take advantage of it. It's like the talent, and the outsiders may not see it, but the talent you have right now is a very unique combination of talent. They just don't know it. And just like they didn't know Shador last year, and they just every chance to try to undermine him till they couldn't. Then they just didn't have a line, and then they switched to, they moved the goalposts. First he was just an FCS quarterback talent. Travis Hunter ain't been healthy, ain't played, and that. And you have all these different things. Shiloh, all these boys play FCS level. Them boys were leading in picks and everything. Silman Craig, all them boys came over and produced. So I think people will still undermine you until you can prove who you are. Colorado's got to prove who they are. Because like I said, people still don't believe. They still question you because you didn't fully prove who you were last year. And I can't say this is going to be easier to do it. I mean, there's a lot going on. You got election, you got a lot of stuff going to be going on. So it's going to be a lot of distraction, as a football is a distraction. I mean, it's a distraction too, but it's going to be a lot going on during that time of year. So it's going to be interesting. But I think the Colorado's definitely capable of being a team who really, if they do everything right, they shouldn't lose more than 2 games. A lot of people got a lot of different predictions. A lot of people got a lot of, they're going to lose this team, that team. I've said on time, I think Utah's overrated. I don't know why people give Utah so much credit. I mean, they're not the Utah of last year, the year before, or whatever. Utah last year wasn't all that. I think they're a solid team as far as, they probably can run the ball and things like that. Defense is pretty decent. But I just don't see a lot of teams being able to go with a line, arm for arm, blow for blow with Shador. And he can throw that ball. And with the receivers he have. You better sack him all over the place. That's your only bet. And I don't think it would not be a good thing if the offense coordinator can't figure the scheme out, all this talent. He had an excuse last year, he knew and all that. The offensive coordinator, he's going to make a break. You should be able to scheme up. You got a whole year to plan for it. Got all these different weapons, use them, formation, whatever you got to do to keep them off of Shador as if he's the only thing they got. And if you can block for him, like these boys said they're going to do, that's the only way they lose. The defense is going to be pretty solid. It's definitely going to be better than last year. They definitely going to have a lot more sacks and a lot more pressures and hurries on the quarterback. It's going to be a lot better team, period. So I just don't see how you just going to outscore Shador. If your defense not giving up a whole lot of points and your line blocking, it's just not too many teams that I see them going against that got the horsepower that they have. You don't have the same quarterback. You don't have the same, you got talent, but it's not enough to match up. But that's me. And like I said, I'm Greg. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Come back and check us out here. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good one.